I recently spent 6 days in the forest. No, not to hike or to camp or any of that. I went there to learn how to and practice forest bathing, or Shinrin Yoku, or Waldbaden as you call it in German. And this video is going to be all about my experience with it, how it has helped me to become more calm, to really learn the true meaning of mindfulness, and how it really just changed a lot of my perspective on things and helped me to become a calmer person and happier person, I would say, as a result. And I'm also going to share some tips on and practices on how you can do forest bathing, no matter if you have a park or a forest or a garden or a balcony near you, anything like that will work. So before we start the video, I just want to reintroduce myself if you don't know me already. If you're new to this channel, my name is Katarina. I make videos all about tech, but also most recently about mindfulness, getting off your screen, slowing down. And this is something that's becoming more and more important in my life. And that's why I want to share it. So let's start from the beginning. I actually did a course in Waldbaden, so I'm now a certified forest bathing facilitator, as you could call it. And it might sound a bit woo-woo or weird if you have not heard of it before, but stay tuned because it is actually game-changing, and you can do it anywhere. You don't even need a forest or like a huge piece of nature around you. You can do it anywhere that has plants and is outside under the fresh air. So what even is forest bathing? Do you jump into a lake in the forest and then just like dive into it and experience it and enjoy it? Not quite. It can be, but no. So forest bathing actually doesn't have anything to do with real bathing in the water, although it can involve that. Forest bathing is more about really experiencing the forest and the nature in its full form and being more aware of it, more mindful of it. And it can include things like meditation, it can include slow walking, slowing down. It's all about really just getting more slow and getting more mindful and really experiencing, activating all 5 senses. So looking at what's around you, listening to what's around you, feeling it, sensing it, tasting it, all of that. So forest bathing is not a new word, or it's not a new concept. It actually originates in Korea, or from Korea, and then also from Japan, where it has been developed. And then now in the past, let's say 10 years or 15 years or so, it's moved over to the US and also Europe, where it's become more popular, and also other continents. It is all about, so Shinrin Yoku is Japanese, and it means big forest, small forest. And yoku means bathing, and at the same time it can also mean healing. So basically forest healing, bathing. And it is a tradition that has helped people who live in more urban areas to slow down and really heal and become healthier and more grounded in their busy day-to-day lives. So people go into forests and then they spend some time in there and then come out feeling much more relaxed and rejuvenated. And there actually have been studies that have shown that forest bathing can reduce your stress, it can boost your immune system, it can really make you more calm, it can also balance out your hormones, and it can help you breathe better because the forest and the trees, they filter the air and make it more clean. It can also help you sleep better. So there are a lot of benefits, and I'm going to link some of the studies below if you want to read more into that, because it really is amazing, like all of the benefits. And of course, we all know this, that spending time in nature is helpful and beneficial for us. Yet a lot of people don't do this enough, or they don't do it consciously. And I think when we were kids, we did this intuitively. We went out and we spent hours and hours, if you grew up somewhat surrounded by nature, or you played, in big fields of grass, or in your garden, or maybe even in the forest or on the beach, like you had this natural inkling of just what to do there. You just could spend hours there. You would maybe smell the sand or the leaves, or you would find like an ant and you would follow it around, or you would build little structures made from tree branches and leaves, and you would just have this imagination and it just like came naturally to you. And I think we've kind of lost that, and this is what forest bathing can give us back. It can give us back this sense of aliveness, and it can give us back just feeling a lot more grounded within ourselves. Okay, so before we go into how it works and how like a forest bath experience can be structured and like what you can do, I'm going to dive into a little bit of my experience of like why I decided to do this, and also how like my program went. This is not sponsored by any means. I just decided to share this because I just thought it could be beneficial for maybe at least one person to try it out as well, and to give it a go. So I was reading a magazine about like 2.5 to 3 months ago, and it was at a time where I was extremely stressed, especially at work. I was just stressed all the time. I think it was chronic stress, and I just did not know how to slow down, how to really take a breath, to be honest, and how to take care of myself. I thought I did, but really I didn't know how to. I like to get things done all the time. I like to be really good at what I do, and I really put a lot of pressure on myself. And yeah, one day I was just in bed kind of reading this article in a magazine, and it was talking about forest bathing, and something in me just clicked. And you know, like every now and then in my life I make these really random, seemingly random, intuitive decisions, and this was definitely one of those. It was just something that told me, hey, you gotta go and do this. Like, this is for you. This is gonna help you in, I didn't know how or like in what way, but I just knew that I had to do that. And so within a couple of days, I literally signed up for this course or this training that would teach you how to become a forest bathing facilitator. It was all in German, so it was in the southwest part of Germany, in a very secluded area, definitely near the forest. What am I doing? What am I doing? Middle of nowhere. Obviously, pretty much in the forest. And I just was like, okay, I'm gonna give this a go. And I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad, because honestly, I feel like just unlocked a side of me that I didn't know I had, and it just really gave me back some of that peace that I had lost over the past couple of years working in tech. I know even if your job and whatever you do for work is somewhat fulfilling you, or it is like fun, working in front of your computer it's not the best thing for your health. And I think I've lost that side of me. It's just that side of me that appreciates being slow and really soaking in nature. And I think this is what I really got back. And also, surprisingly, I learned that I really enjoy teaching other people, like taking other people through this experience. And this is what I want to do going forward a little bit as well. Not full time, I think that's not realistic, not yet at least, but I definitely want to take people through this. And I, for example, took my family forest bathing. It was just the best experience. They had so many cool light bulb moments, and they enjoyed it so much, and it gave them so much as well, just spending 2 to 3 hours with me in the forest and going through a forest bath, as you could call it. And so I just want to give back that to more people. And okay, I think I've rambled enough now about this. So basically in the course we learned about all of the aspects of forest bathing, about how to get people to slow down, different techniques that you can do to discover nature and to kind of really be in tune with nature, how to really activate your senses. We learned different like movement techniques like Qigong, for example, or like meditation. We did a lot of meditation, and we did a lot of just sitting still in nature, and it was very painful at times. Painful because you're just forced to sit in your thoughts or like with your thoughts, and learn how to obviously let them go and just like be in the present moment. And that's not always easy, but one main takeaway for me was to trust the process, because every time that we would start this forest bathing, which was like once a day, we would go and was probably spend 3 to 4 hours in the forest. And in the beginning I would feel really unsettled, I would be fidgety, I would be like not actually even wanting to do it. I was like, oh, I don't want to be still now and like sit with my thoughts, or to be in the present and to focus on a tree. Like, I don't want to do it. And then we went out and we did a couple of activities, and we just went through this process. And by the 3rd or 4th activity, I just felt myself slowing down and just becoming calm and just becoming present and really enjoying it. And then I didn't want to leave the forest. I just wanted to stay there. And I felt so refreshed, like I'd just literally taken a bath or something. And all the people that were with me, we all felt the same. And it was just so almost like magical, I want to call it, which sounds cheesy, but it really was. And yeah, so that's my experience. And I want to share some techniques now with you. So some things that you can also do in your day-to-day. So as I mentioned, like forest bathing usually is facilitated by a guide, someone who takes you through this whole experience. This is how it's best done, because then you can really just focus on the experience and you don't have to think about anything else. But you can also do it alone, of course. Like you can just literally take and find a piece of nature, and you can do a couple of exercises by yourself and just practice it yourself. Like you don't need anything for it. So some simple Waldbaden or forest bathing activities that you can do without a forest. Can be a balcony, can be a balcony with some plants outside, can be a park or a forest, of course, ideally, can be a beach with some plants around it. Just as long as it's outside, you're good. Find that spot for you. And activity number 1 that you can do is to walk more slowly. Just walk your normal pace, start walking your normal pace, then halve that, then halve it again. And if you need to, halve it another time until you're just really walking slowly, consciously, and it's almost uncomfortable. You're just like, oh, I want to walk faster, but you don't. You actually just slow down. And this was probably one of the hardest things also for me to do, because I tend to be a very fast walker, but it really just brings out so much. So do that, slow down and walk very consciously, and then activate all of your 5 senses one by one. So start with one of them, for example, sight. And just really pay attention to what you see around you. Like what are the things? Like you see the trees, you see the plant in front of you, you see the ground. Like what do you see? And just like really pay attention. And then after a while, try and give another sense a go. Maybe hearing, like do you hear some birds? Do you hear the wind in the trees? Like what do you hear? Then after a while, give feeling a go, touch a plant, like see how it feels like, or a tree bark, or the ground, and feel like the wind on your face, or the cold or warm air on your face. Feel the ground, like is it hard, is it soft, is it crunchy, like what does the ground feel like? And just really pay attention to that. And you can do that with all the other senses as well. And see what happens. I think this is a really great activity to start with, and it's very simple. You can literally do it anywhere. Then the second thing that you can do is the 90-degree meditation. So this one is amazing because it's a great activity for changing your perspective. And I actually recently did that with my grandma, and she had this really amazing experience. She said she realized something about her life that was seemingly in front of her, but like when she did this meditation, it just like became so clear to her how she was feeling. And it was really, really fascinating what she got from this meditation, and I didn't expect that. But yeah, give it a go yourself and find a spot where you feel really, really comfortable. It can be ideally surrounded by trees, but anywhere else outside is also good. And then you're going to do a meditation where you're going to stand there looking straight ahead for about 1 to 2 minutes. And then you just stare and you just look at what's around you in that vicinity. After 2 minutes, turn around, turn your body by 90 degrees to the right or to the left, and look at what's around you. And then you repeat that until you've gone all directions. So you've done a 360 meditation basically. And just see like what you notice on all the different sides. Like do you see something different? Do you hear different sounds? Do you, what do you see there? Like, what does that mean to you? All of these different things, and just absorb it. And I think, yeah, you just got to do it to kind of feel the magic of this activity. But it really is powerful, and I can only recommend it. And number 3, this one's a really fun one. It's more of an explorative one. It's more about just discovering what's around you in nature. And it's about, you find a spot and you then go and find different objects that are on the ground that nature has basically given to you. So you don't pick out any flowers, like you don't rip them out. If a flower petal has dropped, or like you know, some leaves or a tree branch that you find interesting, or you see some moss that's like lying around, like anything like that, you pick it up, anything that you find interesting. And you do that for a couple of minutes, maybe 10 minutes or so. You walk around your area and you pick up some things here and there. And then you can sit on the ground, you can find a spot and you build something with it, like anything that inspires you. So you create something with this, with all of these objects. And it's just always really fascinating because you realize like all of the beautiful things that are on the ground, that if they're arranged in a way, they can have different meanings and they can just tell a story, and it's just really, really cool. And I never did that before. I mean, I did it when I was a kid, but that was when you do it naturally. And as an adult, I would never have thought of doing that. So yeah, it's a really fun activity, and I also recommend trying it out. Then number 4 is to walk barefoot. So if you're in an area where you feel comfortable to do so, of course, and where you know you're gonna have like a safe underground, take your shoes off, take your socks off, and just walk really slowly with the same pace that I described in the first activity. Very, very slowly, and just feel all of the senses, experiment, pretend almost like you're an alien that just landed on Earth, and just like feel what it would feel like to experience the ground as an alien. It might sound a bit weird, but just I think that can really help you to have this beginner's mindset where it just feels like you've never seen or felt the ground before, and it can give it all a whole new meaning. And the last activity that I want to share with you, this is more like of a symbolic one, and I think it always helps. Like what we learned, for example, is that whenever you see a bridge somewhere, or you see some stairs, or you see really interesting trees next to each other, which could maybe form a gate or something, you can take this as an opportunity to let go of something or to invite something into your life. So for example, if you see a bridge, you can say, okay, I'm gonna leave all of my worries and all of my doubts and all of the things that I don't want to think about right now, like all of my annoying thoughts, I'm gonna leave them all behind on that side of the bridge. And when I cross the bridge, I'm gonna do that very slowly and intentionally. I'm gonna think of all the things I'm gonna leave behind and let go, and just focus on what's ahead of me. And I think this really helps, especially in the beginning of this like forest bathing, or at the end, for example, when you finish, it really does help to free your mind of all the crap that's on it, that's in it, that you don't want to take into your daily life. And this is so hard to do. Honestly, sometimes it didn't work for me, but just being more intentional, and some days are going to be easier than others. Just trying it out for you, different formats of it, can really, really help you to just invite more presence into your life and more calm. These are all the things that I wanted to share with you for now. Obviously, there's so many other things that you can do, and so many other things that I want to share about this, because it's really a newfound, I would say, passion of mine. Let's see where it takes me. For all the people who are following me for tech content, that's still going to be out there. If that's, if I take on another job or role, and I'm still going to talk a little bit about product management, but I also want to bring in more other things, other topics, because I think this is really important, and this is my journey that I'm going through right now. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new and took something from it. And really, I urge you to go outside and try one of these activities, or just try and kind of see nature in a bit of a different way, more intentional way. Pay attention to what's around you. It really makes you feel so much better, I promise it. And if you want more content like this and more activities and more stuff about forest bathing, then you can follow me on Instagram. This is the handle, and it will also be in the description below. And there I'm going to share some tips and tricks and techniques and activities that I learn, and just my day-to-day learnings and my journey. Because I think, yeah, I just really want to also hold myself accountable and also share what I learn with other people. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you have a beautiful day, and hope you get to go outside today. Bye.